Representative Umberger, no motion now, and
I have nothing to say.
Representative McCarthy.
Yes, Madam Chair, the assumption is, according to Representative McConkey and others, that this vote we just took is a wish list for the cooperative extension if it really isn't included. Therefore, since I voted in the affirmative with the majority, it is my prerogative. I changed my vote officially to no.
No, the way that you have to do this, and if you decide that what the motion, Representative Algren just withdrew his motion, you understand that?
It's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant. Now what you were asking, because you want to change your vote, you're going to have to ask for a reconsideration. Parliamentary wise, now we have to ask for a reconsideration because you want to change your vote.
I asked for a reconsideration.
Okay, now what we have is we have a request in front of us to reconsider the motion to keep the core facility not to extend, not to exceed $1 million. Made by McCarthy. Is there a second to the reconsideration?
Second.
Second from Representative Tregenza or McConkey? Tregenza. Okay. Representative Tregenza. Okay. Does everybody understand where we're doing for a reconsideration? If this passes, we can vote. If you choose to reconsider, you would vote yes. If you choose not to reconsider, you would vote no. Representative
If it passes, it
Merrill.
opens the whole thing to discussion again, right?
Yes.
Not just the vote, okay.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Madam
I would
Chairman?
like everyone to know that I am, what,
Madam
Representative?
Chairman, could I ask what the count was from the last vote? Was it
6 to
6-4?
4.
Thank you.
Okay, so that if we open it up again, it will be 5-5, and we've decided nothing for this, okay? And I want everyone to know is that I am going to vote against reconsideration because I think we all have decided that we want the core extension, has our ideas of what we wanted to do for whatever. Yes, Representative Knox.
Yeah, if I can speak to why I agree with your vote, I don't think we've said that the cooperative extension is going to come down with this vote. I thought the purpose of it was to not specify, was to leave us open, and I think that's what you had in mind. And I believe the motion is passed. That's the way it is.
Right.
Okay. This is, again, we are on the motion for reconsideration. If you are in favor of reconsideration, you will vote yes. If you are against reconsideration, you would vote no. Representative Algren. If you want to reconsider, you would
Do you
vote
still want to
yes.
reconsider, Representative McCarthy? I'm just confused. I guess it's, so now I'm going to vote no.
Representative Fleck.
No.
Representative Knox.
No.
Representative McCarthy.
Yes.
Representative McConkey.
No.
Representative Merrill.
No.
Representative Patton votes no. Representative Schmidt.
Yes.
Representative Tregenza.
Yes.
Representative Umberger.
No.
No. 3-7, we are not going to reconsider. The vote that we have made is would you come up with a plan for the core but not to exceed $1 million.
Point of order, Madam Chairman, does that include the architectural fee to design that?
Yes, $1 million.
Certainly hope so.
It's $1 million.
I'm
Not to
asking
exceed
the
$1 million.
question. I'm asking the question.
Yeah. You will probably need to have money for a plan, so,
Okay.
The lesser the better.
well, yeah.
The less the better.
There's a question over here, yeah.
I just want to make sure that there's money available for them to do this next step, to bring you this information.
That's what he just asked.
Okay, okay, terrific,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Representative McConkey. McCarthy, you had your hand.
Yes, Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
I would like to request the authority that says that I do not have the prerogative to change a vote.
Parliamentary, and I would assume, and if I had had a gavel and it goes down, that's it. If you want to reconsider, you do it after the gavel goes down. I did not gavel, however, we had started talking about a next motion, so all of the action on the previous motion was complete. Our work was complete on the 6-4. We talked about what it was. Representative Algren made a motion to add extension. That's when you said you wanted to make a change. That's when you wanted to make a change to the motion that was already finished. That was why I said that we would have to reconsider.
So parliamentary-wise, what you did was you made the motion to reconsider your vote, and then we voted, unfortunately, to not
And I
allow you
couldn't
that.
change my vote.
To bring it up for another vote, so.
Yes.
And I
But
did
in the
so.
discussion after the vote, it was brought out that most people assumed, one way or another, through a wish list or whatever, as Mr. McConkey said, that it would include the cooperative extension. But before we voted, it said, no, it did not include the cooperative extension. That is absolutely, totally separate.
The motion was
It
to
is.
keep the core facility,
They may not be able to afford to.
and we wanted the commissioners to bring us a plan not to exceed $1 million. Extension was not in that motion. Everybody knew it was not in that motion. We also have known that in the past, other than this meeting today, or 5 minutes ago when we took the motion, that it seems to be a majority of us want to bring extension back. If that's not your thought, then that's how you feel, that's how you feel. So that's why that's why we did the reconsideration, and they didn't vote to do that. So that's my authority for doing it, based on the, either Mason's, and I think it would be Mason's, not Roberts. Yeah. Okay? Yes.
I would just like to say that whatever the commissioners bring us in their core design should include a design for the co-op. Whether or not the co-op can afford it is a different story. And that's where, in my opinion, the analysis that Representative McCarthy wants would occur. And that would occur, hopefully, prior to our next meeting, when this is going to be discussed. Because the co-op can either afford it or not afford it. And the only thing I believe that the commissioners would need to do was be to not say $40 a square foot or $40,000 a year, but your portion of the cost for this renovation is 10%, 20%, or 50%. And the remaining cost is going to be borne by the taxpayer. And that the co-op would pay for this over time, and the county would pay for it over time through the bond issue. And so, whatever they design, I think we all agree, maybe we don't, that we ought to at least have a design thought process for the co-op. And if it doesn't make physical sense, then we won't bring it here. But I don't think we have sufficient information at this time to know whether or not that is a good idea.
Yes, Representative McCarthy.
Yes, Madam Chair, I agree entirely with Representative Umberger, except that I would like to see, since the previous motion was neutral rather for the co-op, not in or out, I would like to see two proposals. The total cost for renovating the core with the co-op moving in, and the total cost to renovate the core without the co-op moving in. I would like to see two. That way we have a choice, we can make a decision.
Take that to me.
Representative Umberger.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would assume, which always is a bad thing to do, that when the commissioners present us that information, they will have the co-op numbers separately, so that the co-op can then make a decision. They have to know. You know, they have to know. So I would, like I said, I would assume that that's how it's gonna come to us, just as it did today.
May I follow up? I agree with that, except that I'm not really concerned with what it's gonna cost the co-op. I'm concerned with what it's gonna cost the taxpayer. So I would like to see it broken down into two,
I have to
with and
tell
without.
you that if the commissioners come back and say co-op, in order to have co-op here, it's going to cost $600,000 to have extension come down, and they're going to have to pay for half of the cost of a million, not to exceed $1 million. At that point in time, we know that we will not approve $600,000 or $60,000 or whatever it is. We, as a delegation, wouldn't approve that amount of money for extension to come down, whether they ask for it or not. So I think that we can be reasonable. Is one of the things that happens is you do take our reason and our judgment when you take us as representatives. And I think that we are reasonable. Representative McConkey said, I don't want to vote yes to extension at this moment until I know what it's going to cost to be able to bring them down and whether we can afford to do that. It's just like, I'm glad I have my barn, but I've already paid for my barn and I can't afford another barn. So I think that what we need to do is understand that we are reasonable people. We understand the history of what we've done with extension, and that we will not all of a sudden, out of the blue, become totally irrational and vote far more money than what we feel extension can afford or what the Carroll County taxpayers can afford. So what we would like to do is, would you please give us a plan on the core facilities not to exceed $1 million, which will include the amount of money for Bonnet, Page and Stone or whoever to be able to bring that plan to us when we come back to it. So I think that we can say everything is okay. All right? No hands, that's good. We have one more thing on the agenda to discuss, which is going to be on the policy committee, and I think what we need is about a 10-minute break. Okay? Thank you very much. We'll be back. Representatives back in here so we can go into convention, so we can vote just for 2 minutes, so that what we can do, Representative Merrill has to leave. I want to go into convention.
I would like to move that we go
Into convention. There's a motion by Representative Ungerberger moves to go into convention, and who seconded it? Who seconded it? McConkey? Okay. All those in favor of going into convention say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. There is a motion that we need to ratify. Where's Representative Knox? But there is a, would I motion to keep the core facility not to exceed $1 million and have the commissioners come back with it, bring us a plan to say that.
All inclusive, is that what you're saying?
the
All
motion.
inclusive $1 million? The motion, I apologize.
The motion is to keep the core facility not to exceed $1 million.
Thank you.
Did you make that motion? Is that okay? Who made the would somebody make that motion?
I'll move it.
Right, Representative Fleck moved it, second it? Who second? Second it, McConkey. All those in favor of ratifying, I know, where is it? Would you see if Representative Knox is in the hall?
This is gonna fail. Or it might fail.
It's in the three.
Oh, no, it'll still win, right?
To ratify the motion to keep the core facility not to exceed.
Let's wait.
It'll still pass, I'm sorry, it'll pass.
Just wait.
Okay, let's just do
You
this,
have a quorum, we can do it.
because Representative Merrow has to go.
Okay.
To ratify that motion. Okay, all those that want to ratify the motion of what we just did in executive session, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 yes, those opposed?
I'm feeling negative today.
3. 6 to 3, the motion passes. Okay, Representative Umberger moves to come out of convention, second by Representative McConkey.